Ryan Getzlaf and the Anaheim Ducks with a league-leading 99 points. Tonight, the Ducks face Keith Yandle and the New York Rangers, second in the East with 97. We welcome you to Madison Square Garden in New York as the Rangers get set to host the Ducks. Good evening, everybody. Kenny Albert along with Joe Micheletti. Should be a lot of fun tonight as two of the top three teams in the NHL standings get together. First, we check out the Eastern Conference. Rangers with 97 points, trailing only the Montreal Canadiens. Rangers lead the Metropolitan Division. In the West, it's the Ducks in the Pacific leading the Vancouver Canucks by 13 points. Ducks tied with Montreal for the most points in the National Hockey League. As we said it downstairs to Joe, Ducks with a 4-game winning streak. They begin a 5-game road trip tonight, led by their dynamic duo of Ryan Getzlaf and Corey Perry.
Yeah, Kenny, the Rangers have been absolutely superb on defense. They've only allowed 9 goals in the last 9 games, but they'll be tested tonight. With Ryan Getzlaf, you've got all this wonderful size, great hands, can shoot it, can pass it, and can deke as well. And then on his right wing, he's got Corey Perry. Leads his team with 29 goals and absolutely one of the best in the league around the net. He plays with an edge, he's got the shot, and he can finish as he did in overtime against Colorado.
And Joe, you mentioned the Rangers have not given up many goals as of late. They have been without their number one goaltender, Henrik Lundqvist, since early February, but Cam Talbot has stepped in. 2 weeks ago, he was the NHL's third star of the week. Last week, the number 2 star in the league.
Well, there certainly were a lot of worries when Henrik Lundqvist went down, and that's to be expected because he's one of the best goaltenders in the world. But Cam Talbot was not only an adequate backup, but now he's trying to prove to everyone that he's a very good number 1. He tries to stay patient. He tries to stay square with the puck, and his glove has just been absolutely tremendous. So this Ranger team has had trouble scoring goals as of late, and they are winning because of the goaltending of Cam Talbot as he won in a shootout last night.
Two hot teams. Ducks have won 4 in a row. Rangers 6 of their last 7. When we come back, Joe will chat with the captain of the New York Rangers, Ryan McDonagh. It's the Rangers and the Ducks coming up next. The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by SAP. Visit NHL.com/stats with insights from SAP. By Honda, official vehicle of the National Hockey League. And by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Just you and the look you want. Back at Madison Square Garden, down to Joe Micheletti with Rangers captain Ryan McDonagh. Joe?
Okay, Kenny, Ryan, you've got a team that their plan of attack is to go after you guys defensively. How do you counter that?
Well, we've got to stick to our structure, not trying to stray away from it, not trying to do too much here. Our strengths are simple, speed, and playing physical all the way through the whole game.
Again, one of your roles tonight is to stop those 2 big forwards of theirs, Ryan Getzlaf, Corey Perry. How do you go about doing that?
Well, it's got to be a 5-man unit. Obviously, our forwards' back pressure has got to be there for us defensemen to have a good gap, try and get the puck out of their hands, not let them carry the zone and make plays there.
Good luck. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Kenny?
Thanks, Joe. Rangers beat the Ducks 4-1 in Southern California back in January. Ducks will look to return the favor here tonight. Opening face-off coming up next. The Honda starting goaltenders for the Ducks. 25 years of age from Denmark, Frederik Andersen, 7th in the NHL, 31 victories this season. At the other end, 27-year-old Cam Talbot. He has been remarkable in the absence of Henrik Lundqvist, a record of 14-3-3. Rangers beat Carolina in a shootout last night, 3-2. Ducks coming off back-to-back overtime victories at home over the LA Kings and Colorado Avalanche. Rangers will start. Derek Brassard centering JT Miller and Matt Zuccarello. Nate Thompson with Jakob Silverberg and Andrew Cogliano for the Ducks. Francois Saint-Laurent and Wes McCauley, the referees. Don Henderson, Matt McPherson, the linesmen. Rangers have iced the puck.
And a quick change for the Ducks right off the bat, Kenny. As, of course, Bruce Boudreau is going to try and get the best matchups he can, and that means trying to keep Getzlaf and Perry away from McDonough and Girardi, who are back together as a pair tonight.
Rangers started the game with Mark Stahl and Dan Boyle. Cannot change following the icing. So Getzlaf, Perry, and Patrick Maroon up front for the Ducks. Maroon misses the net. Getzlaf to the puck. Met by Brassard. Now Sammy Vatanen pinching, his second game back in the lineup after missing 15. Corey Perry had it knocked off his stick. Maroon with a turnaround shot through the crease. Clayton Stoner back in the Ducks lineup tonight, number 3. Ducks scratching Simone Dupre and Matt Bolesky. Rangers without Marty St. Louis, Kevin Klein, and Henrik Lundqvist. Brassard for J.T. Miller, who scored a goal last night. Ducks back the other way, led by Patrick Maroon. Rangers now have McDonough and Girardi on the ice as their defense pairing. 1 minute in, first period, as McDonough finds Rick Nash, 39 goals, third in the league. Anderson knocks the puck up the left side. Chris Kreider for Nash, and he just misses to the right. Ducks unable to clear out. Chris Kreider with the puck for the Rangers. Out to the right point, Dan Girardi, and then Ryan McDonough. Wrist shot deflected, saved by Anderson, and Kreider scores! First goal in 9 games for Chris Kreider. Rangers strike just a minute, 24 seconds in.
Well, and that all starts with Rick Nash getting an opportunity, doing a good job. Kreider gets it back to the point. Now this pass all the way across from Girardi to McDonough allows McDonough to get the shot on goal. Anderson gets a piece of it, can't find it. Kreider uses the big body to get to the front of the net, and he just simply outmuscles Fowler, gets to the puck, and gives the Rangers a 1-0 lead.
18th goal of the season for Boston College product Chris Kreider. Carl Hagelin has a shot blocked. Kevin Hayes, stuff attempt on Anderson, loose in front. And the puck is knocked ahead on the left wing for Emerson Edom. Rangers hold in. Another save by Anderson on Dan Boyle. Hayes fires wide. Puck came out of the zone. Rangers offside.
Now Chris Kreider getting to the front of the net after the Rangers had gotten the puck to the net on some good passing, some good work, and Chris Kreider loses his stick, but is able to get there. There you see Anderson had a chance to control that puck, couldn't find it, and the Rangers, after playing last night, take the early lead.
You mentioned earlier, Joe, the Rangers have not allowed many goals lately, but they've had some trouble scoring. Only 17 of their last 9 games, and many of their top forwards in goal-scoring slumps. And Kreider with his first in 9 games. Stepan and McDonough the assists, and for Derek Stepan, Joe, that is his first point in the last 13 games. Talbot with a blocker save, and then Raquel shoots just wide.
Raquel, one of the young players for Anaheim that's really starting to get his game together. That was a tricky little shot by Raquel as he reached through his legs with his stick on the rebound and just missed.
Rickard Raquel, a former first-round pick of the Ducks. He's 10th among rookies in scoring this season in the National Hockey League. Puck flipped along by Patrick Maroon. Maroon, Perry, Getzlaf back on the ice for the Ducks. Corey Perry with a shot. He scores! So the Ducks come right back just 2 minutes, 50 seconds in. It is number 30 on the season for Corey Perry.
This is a play where Anaheim just shoots the puck in and they go after it. And they get those big bodies. Getzlaf was the first one in. And then eventually, here they come again. McDonough gets back, but he's got pressure. Then he's got a second man. And then here comes a third man. And this shot by Corey Perry, it's a screen shot. Talbot didn't see it. What a shot. As he was turning, he let the quick wrist shot go right through that maze of players, past Talbot before he could pick it up. And a quick response by Anaheim.
It is the 5th career 30-goal season for Corey Perry. So he ties the game at 1. A minute 26 seconds after the Chris Kreider goal. Just over 3 minutes in, first period. Keith Yandle to the opposite corner for Kreider. Rick Nash. And now a shot by Kreider misses the net. Yandle bumped by Silverberg. Kreider comes over. And the puck is cleared down ice by Silverberg into the Rangers zone. No icing as Talbot clears it out himself. Puck played by Cam Fowler of the Ducks. James Wisniewski. Puck comes around off the skate of Edom. Kessler with a shot. Racing over is Wisniewski. Emerson Edom has his shot blocked by Girardi. And Girardi will clear the puck out. Kept away from Hagelin by Wisniewski. Kessler back into the Ranger zone with a shot and a glove save by Talbot.
Now, Kenny, you look at this Anaheim team. They led the league in goals scored a year ago, but then lost in the second round of the playoffs. Bruce Boudreau on the verge of becoming another 100-point coach in this league. And this was a team that made an awful lot of changes. They thought they needed to be better defensively, so they really shored that up, especially at the trade deadline, adding a few more pieces. And then we saw Ryan Kessler. Boy, what an addition he has been to add another big center iceman.
Clayton Stoner with a shot. He misses the net to the left. One of those additions, Joe. Tomas Fleischmann is on the ice for the Ducks, number 14. He played for Bruce Boudreau with the Washington Capitals.
And in the minors prior to that, Kenny, as well, they won a championship down in the minor leagues as well. And this was when they made the change, a lot of changes in the offseason. This Anaheim team didn't have much scoring from their third and fourth lines. They do now.
Shot by Vatanen is handled by Cam Talbot. You mentioned Bruce Boudreau, Joe, on the verge of another 100-point season. In each of his full seasons with the Capitals and the Ducks, he has reached at least 100.
It's a remarkable record. It really is. And of course, he's come up short in the playoffs. And again, one of the reasons why they elected to make some changes, they just felt that they needed more players on defense that could skate and make plays.
Here comes Rick Nash. Lindholm gets back. Backhand shot by Nash through the crease. Nash with 39 goals, but just one in the last 8 games. Hampus Lindholm, he's a great skater. Takes it into the Rangers zone himself. Girardi hit by Maroon, and the Rangers will have the game's first power play.
Well, Pat Maroon has to play physical to be effective and stay in this lineup. In fact, recently he was a healthy scratch, and they told him, you need to get back to playing a physical style. And so you know he's going to hit every chance he gets. And he tries to hold up a little bit as he came. He's a real big, strong player, and you could see him try to hold up, but not enough as he hit Girardi from behind and knocked him down.
Maroon in the box for boarding. Rangers power play sponsored by Jack Daniels, Tennessee Honey. Both teams have struggled on the power play as of late. The Rangers are 0 for their last 18 with the man advantage. They acquired Keith Yandle from Arizona at the trade deadline. He is at the right point as Nash is robbed by Anderson, and then a second chance for Nash is blocked in front by the defenseman Fowler, and the Ducks clear the puck down ice.
Oh, what a save. They've been waiting for Anderson to get his game back together. It hasn't been together for about a month. That was brilliant, that save.
What a stop on Rick Nash. Now Kreider across. Nash stopped by Anderson again. A blocker save. Puck comes out to Yandle. Derek Brassard into the corner for Rick Nash. Yandle now step on, fires and scores!
This doesn't look like a struggling power play. The Rangers, you can just see him move the puck, take the shots. The quick passes, players in front. Kreider was in front for the screen, and Derek Stepan, a goal and an assist now. So after going 12 games without a point, he's got something going here. They've spent a lot of time on their power play the last few practices. Scott Arniel, the associate head coach, runs the power play, and he said, you know what, we lost our confidence. We were shooting instead of passing. We were passing when we should have been shooting. There were no mistakes on that one.
First goal in 15 games for Derek Stepan. For the Rangers, their first power play goal in the last 8 games. 10 shots in the game, Joe. 3 goals already, 6 minutes in.
You know, Kenny, that all started by winning the faceoff. The Rangers have not been good on faceoffs this season, but they won that against Ryan Kesler, and it turns into a goal.
Rangers 29th in faceoffs among the 30 teams as Talbot makes a save on Beauchemin. Kreider and Stepan with the Ranger goals. Corey Perry for the Ducks. 2-1 New York. Derek Stepan of the New York Rangers breaking out of a couple of long slumps. His first point in 13, his first goal in 15. 2 points here in the first period. Yandel and Nash with the assists on the Stepan power play goal. And Joe, for Keith Yandel, his first assist as a New York Ranger.
Well, he's a player that when he was in Arizona, he was relied on to be strictly offense. And so he's learning a new system here and is slowly fitting in. He's a good player.
The Getzlaf unit back out for the Ducks. Glove save by Talbot on Corey Perry.
Now, Kenny, the other thing about Derek Stepan is this, and Alain Vigneault, the head coach of the Rangers, talked about this before the game. He looks at the players' overall games, and with Derek Stepan, he does so many other things besides score. Plays against the top players, kills penalties, power play, you name it. So he's done a lot of other things well for the Rangers except score.
On the ice with his line mates, Kreider and Nash. Vatanen sends to center. Shot back the other way by Nash. Anderson waiting. Anderson beat the Rangers in his only prior appearance against them here at Madison Square Garden last season. A 2-1 victory. He was matched up with Henrik Lundqvist, and now an interference penalty. Ducks will go to the power play as Maroon was interfered with by McDonough.
Yeah, McDonough stepped up, and the puck just eluded Maroon as McDonough was stepping up for the hit. It didn't touch him. McDonough hits Maroon and goes off for interference. There's the play here. The puck has already passed him. And so the Ducks, who have struggled on their power play. It's really amazing, isn't it, Kenny, when you look at all the talent on both these teams that they've struggled on the power play. Ducks come in 24th in the National Hockey League.
And they are just 3 for their last 39. Power play sponsored by Jack Daniels Tennessee Honey. But during much of that time, Joe, they were without Sami Vatanen. Missed 15 games. He's their leading scorer on the power play with 17 points. Wisniewski fires in. Ducks have Palmieri, Raquel, and Kesler up front. Kesler with an opportunity. Talbot the save. And it's cleared down ice by Carl Hagelin. Ryan Kesler scored a lot of power play goals playing for Alain Vigneault, the Rangers head coach in Vancouver. They spent 7 seasons together. Raquel out to Wisniewski. And now Beauchemin. Watched by Jesper Fast. Into the slot for a backhand shot just wide off the stick of Palmieri. And it's Tanner Glass who clears the puck out.
And this is the second power play unit on the ice for Anaheim. Now they're getting a change. Getzlaf, Perry, the number 1 unit. Come on.
Midway through the first Ducks power play as Dominic Moore clears the puck out. Here's Vatanen. Ahead for Getzlaf. Back out to Sami Vatanen. Now Cam Fowler. Vatanen to Getzlaf. And his shot is blocked by the stick of Carl Hagelin. Deflects out of play.
Yeah, one of the things about Getzlaf is that he can take the shot on the power play as he attempted there, and Hagelin with his speed got in the shooting lane. Or the other thing he likes to do is just simply slow it down, hold on, and wait to make a play. He's a very, very unselfish player.
Getzlaf leading the Ducks with 65 points. He wins the faceoff back to Fowler. Getzlaf cuts in deep. Tough angle shot. Puck loose in front. And Girardi knocks it away from Perry. Matt Hunwick chips it ahead and out over the stick of Fowler. 20 seconds remaining on the power play for the Ducks. Good work on the penalty kill by Derek Stepan. Here comes Sami Vatanen for Corey Perry. Dropping it off for Vatanen. Now Boschman with a drive. Getzlaf to the puck. In deep for Perry. Penalty is over. McDonough out of the box. Ducks maintain possession. This is Fleischmann. Out to Vatanen. Fleischmann with a shot, and that gets blocked by Girardi. Carried ahead by McDonough, joined by Hagelin. 2 Ducks back. Hagelin flips it around to the near side with just under 11 minutes remaining. First period, Rangers 2, Ducks 1. Yandel moving in from the point. Out to Matt Zuccarello, and that's blocked in front. And the puck is cleared down into the Rangers zone. Boyle keeps it away from Silfverberg. Now Silfverberg on the recovery. Cleared out by Brassard for J.T. Miller. Cutting wide on Fowler. Miller sends one across the top of the crease. Yandel behind the net to Brassard. Battling with Wisniewski. Rangers keep it in the zone. Ducks are out shooting the Rangers 10-6. Miller for Zuccarello. Back to Miller, and then Zuccarello blocked in front. And Silfverberg will clear.
Real nice defensive job by Nate Thompson coming back on Zuccarello. Good give and go by the Rangers, but Thompson got stick on Zuccarello and really prevented him from getting a hard shot.
Here's Kevin Hayes down the right wing. He turns and shoots. He scores!
Well, Bruce Boudreau was concerned about the Rangers' speed. The Rangers force a turnover in the neutral zone, and back they come in a hurry. Move the puck, but this is one you expect your goaltender to stop, even though it looked like it deflected off a skate, but it goes through the legs of the goaltender. There's the play. It might have hit Hagelin, or maybe even the defenseman, and then deflected through the legs. And a goaltending change we are going to see. Frederik Andersen, after Gibson had played 4 straight, came back to play the last game, of which he won 3-2 in overtime against Colorado. And after allowing 3 here in the first 10 minutes and 16 seconds, Andersen heads to the bench. Gibson goes in.
So Andersen allows 3 goals on 7 shots. He was starting for only the 5th time in the last 20 Ducks games. He missed some time with head and back injuries during the month of February. So Andersen replaced by the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania native, 21-year-old John Gibson, who has won 7 of his last 8 decisions. Quick shot by Hagelin is blocked by Boschman and deflects out of play. 3-1 Rangers. You're watching the NHL push for the playoffs on NBCSN.
Alain, your team has had some trouble scoring goals. Were you worried about it, and how do you feel with this quick start with 3?
Well, every game is different, Joe, and tonight's another game. It's another opportunity for us to go out and put a strong effort on the ice. That's what we're trying to do against a real good team.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Joe.
Rangers have not scored more than 3 goals in any of their last 8 games. They scored 3 on Andersen, replaced by Gibson. The last time these teams met, back on January 7th in Anaheim, the Rangers scored 3 third-period goals. So that's 6 goals the last period and a half for the Rangers against the Ducks. And that 3rd goal did deflect in, as you mentioned, Joe, off the skate of Carl Hagelin. His 16th of the season. from Hayes and Yandle at 10-16. Second assist for Yandle. Hayes ahead of the play. Unable to corral the puck. Sent ahead by Lindholm and chased by Yandle. Tanner Glass with a drive. Gets left, clears it ahead for Perry. McDonough is back. Maroon cutting for the net. Perry moves in and scores! His second of the period, cutting the Rangers' lead to 1.
Now, Corey Perry is such an excellent shooter, and on this particular play, he kind of fakes the shot, delays a little bit, and then is able to recover and get the shot quickly. Here's the long pass, beautiful pass, and now Perry holds it, makes the move, finds it, and then shoots it. He is so strong that you can sometimes get the stick, but it's not enough. Look how he just fights right through the stick and is able to retrieve the puck and get a quick release and another quick response by Anaheim.
So Corey Perry, the only player in the NHL with 3 hat tricks this season, has 2 goals here in the first period. He scored 43 last year. He's missed a lot of time. He's missed 15 games this season with a knee injury and the mumps. But he's having a good year. 31 goals for Perry. Getzlaf, the assist, 11-12 the time. So it's a 3-2 game. 5 goals on 18 shots.
What a brilliant pass from Ryan Getzlaf, who leads the NHL in first assists.
Now Wisniewski in front of a save by Talbot on the Raquel deflection after Boyle took a hard hit into the boards.
Now Perry and Boyle behind the play.
And they drop the gloves. Dan Boyle not happy about the hit that he took to the boards to the right of goaltender Cam Talbot.
He took the hit, and then Boyle knocked down Perry in the high slot. Perry didn't like that. They talked all the way up, pushed and shoved all the way up to the other side of the red line before Dan Boyle, who was really incensed, dropped his gloves with a much bigger Corey Perry. The initial hit was a hard one behind the Rangers net. And that's the one thing about this Anaheim team, and they've done this all season long. They like to be tough and aggressive, and when they fall behind, they'll up that tempo of that type of game. And there you see the hit. There was no penalty on the initial hit. They came all the way up the ice, exchanged some cross checks, and eventually dropped the gloves.
They were Olympic teammates, Joe, back in 2010. They won a gold medal together with Team Canada in Vancouver.
They forgot. Still having a conversation about that in the penalty box.
2 apiece for roughing. They are not assessed fighting majors, so the teams will skate 4 aside. 2 veterans, both Stanley Cup champions during their NHL careers. Corey Perry, Dan Boyle, 2 apiece for roughing, 12:06. Brassard down the left wing. Yandle for Girardi. Back to Keith Yandle, shot blocked, and then a save by Gibson.
Now, Kenny, you heard Elaine Vigneault answer that question about the scoring, and that's one of the things that's made him such an outstanding coach, that throughout this, whether the team is scoring, not scoring, players going into slumps, his demeanor stays the same, and I think it has a real major effect on his team. You know, he just stays the course. He says this is another game, trying to get ready for the playoffs, trying to get everybody to play a certain way, and none of this affects him when they have these types of slumps. It's especially, I guess, a little bit easier when your team continues to win, but that's even the same demeanor he had in the first half of last season when the team struggled.
Long pass for Bolshevik. Talbot looked behind him. He has the puck. Watch the NHL on NBC Live on your laptop, tablet, or smartphone with NBC Sports Live Extra. Download the app or go to NBCSports.com/Live Extra and watch the biggest events anywhere, anytime. Rangers had allowed 1 or fewer goals in regulation 8 straight games until the Hurricanes scored 2 last night. Ducks with 2 in the first period tonight on Cam Talbot. Shots are 13-8 Ducks. Rangers have a 3-2 lead. Mark Stahl shaken up back behind the Ranger net. He also blocked a shot last night, Joe, and limped off the ice.
I think he got hit with a high stick this time, I believe, Kenny.
Just under 7 minutes remaining. First period. 2 of the top 3 teams in the overall league standings. Ducks with 99. Rangers have 97 points. Kyle Palmieri, born on Long Island, grew up in New Jersey. Palmieri, number 21 for the Ducks. Long pass to Matt Zuccarello. And the save by Gibson.
Both these teams now utilizing those long stretch passes to get up the ice.
Getzlaf hesitated. Ducks offside.
Oh, we saw Mark Stahl go down behind the New York Rangers net. Kessler coming in, tries to play the puck. Stick comes up accidentally as he's trying to get out of the way. There it is there. Does a good job, and then the stick just comes up accidentally and catches Mark Stahl. That was not detected, obviously.
Teams continue to skate 4 aside for another 20 seconds. With Boyle and Perry serving their roughing minors. Sammy Vatanen for the Ducks. Dan Girardi back for the Rangers. Rick Nash cross ice to Derek Stepan. Off McDonough's stick, gathered in by Vatanen. Penalties expire. Perry and Boyle return. Now an opportunity from in close. Talbot again looked behind him. He has the puck. 5:38 remaining. Action-packed first period here at MSG.
The score was 3-1 for the Rangers. Right side of your screen. What a pass from Ryan Getzlaf to Perry, who makes this move and then finds a puck and scores his second of the game to get Anaheim to within 1.
There's Getzlaf, who leads the NHL in primary assists. Our player profile with insights from SAP. Primary assists, the player who gets the puck to the goal scorer. And Getzlaf leads the league in that department. Face off to the right of Cam Talbot. Boyle knocks the puck ahead. James Shepard, acquired by the Rangers at the deadline from the San Jose Sharks. Shepard, number 45. Back the other way, Fleischmann. Fleischmann dropping it off for Wisniewski. He gets bottled up by Dominic Moore. And Moore will clear the puck out.
It's been a fast period, Kenny. I mean, these two teams really skating. Not much play in the neutral zone. Both teams able to get the blue line most of the night.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. Bruce Boudreau told us this morning the Rangers are the fastest team the Ducks have played all season. I asked him what other teams were right behind the Rangers in that category. He mentioned Tampa Bay, Detroit, and Montreal, all Eastern Conference clubs. He said the East is fast, the West is big and strong.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why they went out at the deadline and got faster. The acquisitions they made them a faster team because they felt that's what they needed to compete.
Right, Fleischmann, Sakic, Dupre, Wisniewski.
And the other issue, Kenny, was that the faster, quicker teams are the teams that have given them trouble most of the season.
They lost to the Rangers in January, lost 2 to Tampa Bay, and now the Rangers will go on their second power play. Tripping penalty in front of the Ranger bench.
This game is starting to get nasty. Kessler, and now he's got a hold of one of the Ranger sticks, and I believe it's Kessler that's going to get the penalty.
He took down Girardi. Second penalty Dan Girardi has drawn tonight.
He started to go to his bench, had a few words with Tanner Glass on the Rangers bench.
They were teammates in Vancouver. They went to the Stanley Cup final together.
Yeah, they both had a little chuckle. Ryan Kessler is a hard-nosed, difficult player to play against. which is one of the reasons why they went out and got him after losing to Los Angeles in the second round. And he has lived up to his billing for sure.
Kessler in the box for tripping. Second power play for the Rangers. They scored on their first. Came into the game without a power play goal in their last 7. 4 forwards on the ice plus Keith Yandle. Brassard for Nash. Nash with a shot, stick save by Gibson. Yandle keeps it alive. Yandle with 2 assists in the period. Puck hops over the stick of Brassard. Rangers must clear the zone. Just under 4 minutes to play, first period. Kenny Albert, Joe Micheletti from Madison Square Garden. Rangers lead the Ducks 3-2. Brassard shoots the puck in. Gibson stops it for Beauchemin. He fires around and out. Both teams make player changes. Just over a minute remaining on the Kessler penalty. Rangers offside.
Chris Kreider tried to hold up as he was coming across the blue line to allow Matt Zuccarello to carry the puck over the blue line to make a play, and just barely offside was Chris Kreider.
Rangers now with JT Miller, Kevin Hayes, and Matt Zuccarello with McDonough and Boyle. Getzlaf and Cogliano, the penalty killing forwards for the Ducks, along with Stoner and Vatanen. Ducks control the faceoff, and Vatanen shoots in. Dan Boyle with a minute remaining on the Rangers power play. Zuccarello with speed. Knocks it in behind the net. Stoner plays it for the Ducks. Tied up by Hayes. Zuccarello tries to get it out in front for Miller. Now Hayes with the puck. Kevin Hayes for JT Miller. Dan Boyle out for McDonough. And then Hayes looking for Zuccarello. Broken up. Good defensive play by Stoner. And he clears down.
Excellent play by Stoner. He was going down to block the shot, but also had his stick in the right position to block the pass.
Rangers back up ice. 15 seconds remaining on the Kessler penalty. Brassard for McDonough. Boyle. Shot blocked in front, and it's cleared down ice this time by Silfverberg, so that will do it for the Kessler penalty. One shot got through to Gibson on the power play. That was off the stick of Nash. Rangers now 1 for 2.
Outstanding job of penalty killing by the Ducks. Stoner, as we talked about, put himself in a position. Good puck movement by the Rangers. Move it around. Stoner's number 3. Watch him go down here. But the stick is also, he's got the body in the position to block the shot, the stick in the position to block the pass. Excellent job. Big, strong, tough kid back in the lineup after being a healthy scratch against Colorado. This Anaheim team now has depth both up front and on defense.
And Bruce Boudreau has shuffled bodies in and out. He said, I don't want anyone to sit for too long. So Stoner back in. Boudreau really impressed with Simone Dupre, who came over for the Penguins. She's out of the lineup tonight. Perry with a shot. Talbot able to make the save. Perry with 2 goals here in the first period for Anaheim. Step on for Nash. Long shot is gloved by Gibson.
I think Corey Perry's been the best player on the ice in this first period. He has the 2 goals for Anaheim, but every time he gets the puck, he seems like he puts himself in a position. This is just a last rush and an easy save by Gibson, and does a smart thing and just holds on for the faceoff. This Anaheim team is a good faceoff team.
Hayes and Kessler on the draw. Puck knocked into the corner. Vatanen on it for the Ducks. 90 seconds remaining in the period. Long shot by Boyle misses the net. Hagelin with a hit on Stoner. Palmieri works it back behind to Vatanen. Kessler unable to clear. Kept in by Yandle. Now Palmieri the other way. Here's Kessler with a shot and a stick save by Talbot. Yandel plays the puck. As we approach 1 minute remaining, first period. Rangers 3, Ducks 2. Hayes knocked down by Palmieri. Sami Vatanen for Clayton Stoner. Deflected along by Silverberg. Thompson and Girardi. Now McDonough comes in. Plays the puck ahead to Tanner Glass with 40 seconds on the clock. James Wisniewski across to Silverberg. Banned on the shot attempt. Puck played by Cogliano out in front. An opportunity for Thompson. And then it's cleared out by Dominic Moore.
This has been a very good line for Anaheim the last number of games. Thompson in the middle between two speedsters, Cogliano and Silverberg.
Wisniewski with 10 seconds. Circles it back. Period 1 comes to an end. 17 Duck shots. Rangers with 11. 2 points for Derek Stepan, 2 goals for Corey Perry. Rangers with a 3-2 lead. They chased Frederik Andersen, who allowed 3 goals on 7 shots. Coming up, the Lexus Intermission Report with Catherine Tappan, Keith Jones, and Jeremy Roenick. Stars shining again on Broadway, and the Bruins are on the playoff bubble. Exciting first period here at Madison Square Garden. 2 of the top 3 teams in the league. 5 first period goals, 3-2 Rangers. The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by Lexus and their pursuit of perfection. By the Discover It card. It's a game changer. And by Warner Brothers Pictures' new comedy Get Hard in theaters March 27th. Back at Madison Square Garden, Kenny Albert, Joe Micheletti. We get set for the second period. Rangers lead the Ducks 3-2. Miller, Brassard, Zuccarello for the Rangers. Silverberg, Thompson, Cogliano for the Ducks. Corey Perry with both Anaheim goals in the first as Talbot covers the puck.
Well, here comes Corey Perry. What a first period he had. 5 shots on goal. And he just seemed to, every time he was on the ice, Kenny, he had the puck making things happen. Of course, when he starts playing with that physical edge as well, which is most of the time, then that's when he becomes a dominant player. And he was dominant in the first period.
Here's Perry. Puck rolls off his stick. Stoner with a shot deflected to the corner by Maroon. Now Getzlaf, who won 8 of 9 faceoffs in period 1. Ducks won 60% of the draws. Stepan with 2 points. Shoots to center for Kreider, who scored the first goal of the game. His career-high 18th as Getzlaf using his soccer skills, Joe, to kick the puck back to Sami Vatanen.
Oh, he made a real good play first to take the body, and then his stick was tied up, so that's when he kicked it.
Stepan back in on the right side. His shot is blocked by Stoner, deflects out of play.
Well, what'll be interesting in this second period, I thought that first period, both teams really did a good job of utilizing that long pass. Were they able to get through the neutral zone without much opposition? And of course, the big change for Anaheim in that first period was the goaltending change. Frederik Andersen started, allowed 3, and then John Gibson came in to relieve him.
Gibson has faced only 4 shots. He has stopped them all. Puck sent down into the Ranger zone. No icing. Matt Hunwick cuts away from Emerson Edom. Edom ties up Hunwick along the near boards. Palmieri comes in. Edom with the puck, the California native. Knocked down by Hunwick, back on his skates. And Talbot alertly reaches out with his catching glove, and then Yandel shoves Kessler out of the crease area.
That was a good battle between the two of them. Yandel, Kessler trying to get himself in a position where he can get the puck without getting tied up. He just battles and battles and battles. Kessler, they've used him most of the time over this season as a matchup man. And of course, with Keith Yandle, they certainly would, in acquiring him at the trade deadline, wanted to solidify their defense, and they certainly did that.
Kessler really enjoys playing with the Ducks after 10 years in Vancouver. Rangers win the draw. Boyle sends the puck down. Glass was spun around. Lindholm on it for the Ducks. Kessler takes a hit from Shepherd. James Shepherd, Joe, facing the Ducks for the 6th time this season. He played against them 5 times with San Jose. Puck worked out to Dan Boyle, another ex-Shark. His shot blocked in front by Beauchemin. And then cleared out to center where it's played by Stahl for Glass.
He should have a pretty accurate scouting report against the Ducks, except they did make, we talked about earlier, quite a few changes at the deadline.
And Bruce Boudreau, their head coach, very happy about those changes. Ducks have won 4 straight, 11 of their last 15. Anaheim has iced the puck as Toyota takes you inside the glass with Joe.
Okay, Kenny, thanks very much. That first period, we talked often about this guy right here, Corey Perry, and what a period he had. Handled the puck, gained the blue line, made plays, took the shots when they were available, scored both goals. How about this move on Ryan McDonough, the outstanding defenseman for the Rangers, and scored his 2nd one there. He was all over the ice and got involved physically as well.
Rangers win the draw, to save by Gibson on Hunwick. Palmieri clears the puck down. Ducks have iced the puck again.
So in what was a very fast first period, we've already had a few icings here to start this 2nd period. I'm not sure either team really wanted to see that quick of a period. The Rangers love to play a quick period, but they're always stressed to play good defensive hockey. And as far as Bruce Boudreau is concerned, same way. He knew that this team needed to get better defensively. They have done that. They've also increased their scoring.
Rangers control the face-off. JT Miller for Dan Boyle. Taken away from him by Edom. Ducks now make a change following back-to-back icings. Long pass for Zuccarello. Now to a streaking Miller. He scores!
When you don't get the puck in deep against the Rangers, this is what happens. Keith Yandle goes back, gets it, 1 good pass, 2nd good pass, and JT Miller, who is really growing up as a player here in New York, with that rocket of a wrist shot off the glove of Gibson and into the net. And JT Miller just switched to left wing on the line with Zuccarello and Brassard. Makes it a 4-2 game.
Joe, JT Miller might have bragging rights back home this summer. He and John Gibson both grew up in the Pittsburgh area. In fact, they were teammates with the U.S. national program. And Miller beats Gibson for the Rangers' 4th goal of the night. He scored in back-to-back games.
Now, the last number of years, the former #1 pick, JT Miller, has been up and down with Hartford. They've continued to try and coach him about being more consistent with his game. Remember last year, the big line was Zuccarello on one side, Brassard in the middle, and Benoit Pouliot was an excellent line for the Rangers. Pouliot signed as a free agent. Nash has been there most of the season, but with injuries to St. Louis, they're trying JT Miller there, and he has goals now in back-to-back games.
And Alain Vigneault said prior to the game last night that he envisions Miller perhaps picking up where Pouliot left off on that line last season, and he has now scored in back-to-back games playing with Brassard and Zuccarello. And how about Keith Yandle? His 3rd assist of the night. Did not have an assist in his first 9 games with the Rangers. Miller from Zuccarello and Yandle at 2:38. Wisniewski chips the puck ahead. Rangers in the midst of a change. Boyle shoots back in. Fowler to play it for the Ducks. Cam Fowler shoots in, winds around behind Cam Talbot. Patrick Maroon plays the puck for the Ducks to Ryan Getzlaf, and then Corey Perry. Perry, 5 shots, 2 goals in the first period. Perry tries to come out in front. Puck knocked back behind the net. Yandel up the boards. Getzlaf cross ice for Stoner, and he shoots wide. Maroon is shaken up. Patrick Maroon is finally back up on his skates behind the Ranger net. He was down for about 10 seconds. Now he's stripped by Boyle. Perry keeps it alive. Perry keeps the puck away from Boyle. Now to Getzlaf. Getzlaf's shot deflected wide by Maroon. Maroon battling for the puck. Vatanen hit by Shepard. Kept alive by Getzlaf for Perry out at the right point. Knocked down by the glove of Tanner Glass, and he clears the zone.
A good shift by Anaheim.
Puck knocked down at the line by Stoner. Deflected into the zone by Silverberg. Silverberg looking for Cogliano. Directs it out to the left point for Lindholm. His shot gets blocked by Shepard. Race for the puck. Lindholm first to it.
Well, Lindholm did a good job after he took the shot. He was in position to just get enough of Shepard to slow him down.
Now Lindholm for Cogliano. And his shot is blocked by McDonough. Deflects out of play.
Well, Pat Maroon has been in the middle of a few things in this game. We saw him get involved in the first period. Yandel there knocks him down, but then the stick as Yandel was going to try and clear the puck. You see Maroon down on the ice, and then there's the stick on the follow-through by Yandel that catches him right there.
Face off to the left of Cam Talbot. Rangers with a 4-2 lead on the Ducks. Ducks control the draw. Fowler moving down the right side. In behind the net for Palmieri. Cross ice to Fowler, watched by Girardi. Out in front, McDonough knocks it ahead for Miller, and he clears into the Duck zone. Icing Rangers. Get the Only Hockey app with free game highlights and audio, plus live out-of-market games. Download the official app of the NHL. Face off again to the left of Cam Talbot. Ryan Kessler, Derek Brassard. 5.5 in, second period. Rangers 4, Ducks 2. Wisniewski's shot gets blocked.
Miller, what a block of the shot. He was shaken up initially and back on his feet. Wisniewski got a terrific shot.
Now Fowler's shot deflects wide. Miller knocked down. Puck comes out of the zone. Puck intercepted by Miller. Then he lost the handle. Here's Raquel. Back the other way, and a blocker save by Talbot. Ryan McDonough for Dan Girardi. Zuccarello will backhand out. Clayton Stoner for the Ducks. Shots are 18-13 Anaheim. Rangers with a 4-2 lead off the turnover. Carl Hagelin for Matt Hunwick. Hagelin with a long shot. Misses the net to the right. Stahl keeps it alive for Kevin Hayes. His centering pass is picked off and cleared by Emerson Edom. Ducks are offside. They trail the Rangers 4-2. Second period from Madison Square Garden. JT Miller with the fourth Ranger goal.
On the left is Keith Yandel. Of course, he was traded over from Arizona. He said in Arizona he was playing with all these young defensemen, so he had to do all the talking. He said when he got here, you got Boyle there and McDonough, veteran players. He said he's done a lot more listening and communication and getting more feedback from those other veteran players. It's been one of the big changes that he has seen with this Ranger team from where he was in Arizona.
Also did a lot of listening, Joe, in high school when his assistant coach was a Hall of Famer named Ray Bourque.
That's a smart thing to listen to him. That's right.
Cushing Academy. Chris Bork, one of Ray's sons, who plays for the Rangers affiliate in Hartford, was a teammate of Keith Yandle at Cushing. Yandle with the puck. He has 3 assists tonight. Puck held in by Beauchemin. Now Lindholm back for Beauchemin, and he fires wide. Lindholm, nice tap pass. Beauchemin into the corner. Lass and Raquel come together. Edom with the puck. Now Ricard Raquel keeps it away from Yandle. Raquel in deep. Glass met by Yuri Sakac. And Hunwick spun around by Raquel. Yandle up the boards. And the Rangers finally get it out. Backhanded along by Dominic Moore. Rangers scored 3 in the first. They chased Frederick Anderson, replaced by John Gibson, as Talbot gloves the puck.
Yeah, we've talked about Keith Yandle and coming over. Dave Tippett, their head coach, told me that Keith Yandle can make something out of nothing. And you've seen him tonight with these passes, his ability to look up. He's got very good hands. Here's another play. This was on the last goal by Miller, where Yandle starts it, looks up on the move, finds the open man, and puts it right on the tape. His ability to give and go and move the puck in that fashion is what the Rangers were extremely interested in.
His second game with 3 assists this season. Did it for Arizona against the Kings back in October. Only 3 combined shots here in the second period. Rangers have 2, Ducks just 1. 28 shots between the 2 clubs in the first. McDonough carries to the corner. Now flips towards the net, and it's snatched out of the air by Gibson. Well, Keith Yandle with the 3 assists tonight, playing in his 458th consecutive game. The active Iron Man is on the other side. Andrew Cogliano of the Ducks, who has never missed a game in his career, now at 614. That's the 3rd longest streak all time to start a career. Doug Jarvis, 964. Ex-Ranger Andy Hebbington at 630 games, just 16 ahead of Cogliano.
You know, see those other 4 players on that list, all forwards. It's more difficult for defensemen because they're involved in more of the physical play than the forwards. And Keith Yandle, not a big player, but very smart. He's a difficult player to hit. You know, he plays the game with a lot of smarts, known more for the offensive side of the game, but he's an extremely intelligent player. Plays a little under 200 pounds, and that man right there, Cogliano, not big either, but has tremendous speed.
Wisniewski spun around, lost the puck. Broussard for the Rangers. Kept away from Miller by Kessler. Now Broussard finds Miller behind the net. Works it out to the left point. Stahl with a shot. And it's cleared out by Tomas Fleischmann. Collision between Palmieri and Miller. And the puck is kicked ahead by Boyle.
Miller looked up on the play and saw Palmieri coming, the New Jersey kid, and was able to brace himself as they came together shoulder to shoulder. Good, solid body contact. This has been a physical game. Both these teams playing with an edge. There's Miller, looks up, sees Palmieri coming over, braces himself. Hard shoulder-to-shoulder hit by both players.
Palmieri, a huge Ranger fan as a youngster. There he is. Born on Long Island, grew up in Montvale, New Jersey. Attended Notre Dame for a year. His idol was Mark Messier. He scored the game-winning goal, Joe, here at the Garden last season in his only prior game in this building. And his wallet's a little lighter tonight. He bought 12 tickets for the game for friends and family members.
Yeah, he was so thrilled with last year.
Nice move by Hayes and the save by Gibson, and Jesper Fast misses the net. Yandle with a shot. That's gloved by Gibson.
Well, Hayes, the unrestricted free agent out of Boston College that the Rangers signed last summer with a real good move. 6'5", long reach, able to get the shot. And then Jesper Foss, who scored a goal last night in Carolina, attempted the rebound opportunity and missed high.
Hayes, a first-round pick of the Chicago Blackhawks, did not sign. He's had a terrific rookie season for the Rangers. Dan Boyle out to the point. James Shepard covering. Moore keeps it away from Thompson. Centering pass off the stick of Shepard. He and Lindholm battle. Thompson over to help out. And now Beauchemin ahead for Cogliano. Nate Thompson with a long shot wide to the right. Silverberg to the far corner. Getzlaf just off the bench. Cogliano for Ryan Getzlaf. Silverberg setting up in front. Cogliano with the puck. Silverberg picked off by Shepard. Shepard circles back as the Ducks make a full change. Rangers look to change as well. Corey Perry, nice play by Getzlaf to knock the puck out of the air. Chris Kreider up the boards. Now Kreider finds Stepan. He fires on a blocker save by Gibson. Rangers.
No one, pardon me, Kenny, no one is passing up an opportunity to get a hit when it's there.
Well, you're right, Joe. Physical game to this point. Sammy Vatanen hounded by Derek Stepan. And now Stepan will move the puck down. Vatanen reversing it back behind his net. Getzlaf keeps it away from Miller. Just over 8 minutes remaining, second period. Rangers with a 4-2 lead on the Ducks. They've got his pass deflected away from Zuccarello. Now Brassard for Miller. Brassard has his shot blocked by Clayton Stoner. Zuccarello keeps the puck in the zone. Now Sakic, who came over in the trade from Montreal. Yuri Sakic scored his first goal as a Duck on Friday night against Colorado. Shot by Raquel, misses the net. Karam's all the way out. And now it's fired back in by James Wisniewski. Off the stick of Raquel. Yandel. Now Hagelin. Zuccarello fires across for Hagelin. Yandel with a shot. Knocked out and covered by Gibson. 4-2 Rangers over the Ducks. You're watching the NHL push for the playoffs on NBCSN.
Bruce down 2 goals midway through the game. Any particular changes you'd like to see?
Well, I'd like to see us play better. I mean, we're not moving the puck very fast. We're letting them come at us, and when we get it on D, instead of moving it up quick, we're playing east-west instead of north-south. Against this team, you do that, you're going to get killed.
Thanks for your time.
Okay.
When Bruce Boudreau coached the Washington Capitals, his clubs faced the Rangers in the postseason twice, and they won both series in 2009 and 2011. During the 2011 series, following Game 3 in this building, Joe, Boudreau commented that he did not think the fans were very loud and into the game. So during the next game, Game 4, they chanted, "Can you hear us?" throughout the game, directed at then Capitals head coach Bruce Boudreau.
He actually laughed about that this morning when we talked to him.
His club would have the last laugh in that series, winning in 5 games. They beat the Rangers in 7 in 2009. Kevin Hayes with the puck off the skate of Lindholm and flipped out of the zone by Fleischmann. Ducks offside. You know, Bruce Boudreau is a terrific player. In the Ontario Hockey League back in 74-75, he set the league record playing for the Toronto Marlies with 165 points, a record that would be broken 3 years later by Wayne Gretzky. The next year, he played for the Johnstown Jets. 2 of his teammates were Steve and Jeff Carlson, otherwise known as Steve and Jeff Hansen in the movie Slapshot. And Bruce had a role in the movie, Joe.
He did. I was a teammate of Steve's in Edmonton. We played together, and I played against Steve and the Carlson brothers of northern Minnesota high school hockey way back when. Terrific family.
Well, in the movie Slapshot, the iconic film, Bruce Boudreau played on one of the opposing teams. Good hustle by Chris Kreider to eliminate an icing. Nash for Stepan. His shot gets blocked by Getzlaf. Ryan McDonough, speaking of Minnesota high school hockey, he and Stepan on the ice, both from the state of Minnesota. Patrick Maroon flips wide of the Ranger net. Talbot had it knocked down, and Perry is stopped. Looking for his third of the game. Talbot able to come back across from right to left.
From our Wendy's RoboCam, Corey Perry's trying to score his third goal of the game. Cam Talbot comes out. He's an excellent puck handler, but Corey Perry hustles in, knocks it down, has that chance, and Talbot hustles back to the other side. What a save.
Cam Talbot, 14-3-3 after taking over for the injured Henrik Lundqvist, who is scheduled to skate with the Rangers on Tuesday morning prior to their game against the Kings. He's been cleared to practice with the club. He was scheduled to practice Friday, Joe, but his wife Therese gave birth to their second child, so congratulations to the Lundqvist family. Baby daughter named Julie, born on Friday.
That's the second daughter.
Here's Fleischman for the Ducks. Fowler works it across. And another save by Talbot on the shot from Wisniewski from the right circle. Puck sent ahead by Tanner Glass. Wisniewski cuts away from Brassard. Thompson up the left wing, deflected in by Cogliano. Talbot leaves for Hunwick with under 5 minutes to play, second period. Rangers 4, and the Ducks 2. Palmieri carries out. Bothered from behind by Brassard. Yandel caught up in the skates of the linesman. And now it's Zuccarello. Cogliano for the Ducks. For Palmieri, in on the right wing. Shot blocked by McDonough. Hunwick and Getzlaf come together. McDonough with a long pass, too far for JT Miller. Sent around by Gibson. Boschman gives it away to Stepan, who scores his second of the game and his third point. 5-2 Rangers.
We saw all kinds of long passes in that first period. Very few in this period until now. Ryan McDonough, top of your screen, throws it all the way across. No icing. Gibson plays it, and then eventually you'll see Stepan right in the middle of your screen. Look at his patience. He waits until he gets just a step past the defenseman Lindholm right here. Waits, and then fires it. Gibson gets a piece of it. And Derek Stepan, with that smile, his third point of the game.
After going 12 games without a point, 14 games without a goal. What a night for Derek Stepan. So the Rangers scored 3 on 7 shots against Anderson. Now 2 goals on Gibson. Collision between Raquel and the referee, Francois Saint-Laurent. Ducks keep the puck alive in the Ranger zone. Emerson Edom keeps it away from Dan Girardi. Into the corner for Raquel. Raquel with a centering pass, deflects to the far board. Stoner is on it there. Through the skates of Edom. And McDonough skates it out. Jesper Fast for the Rangers with 3:15 remaining in the period. Deflected along by Hayes. Hagelin, first man in. Shouldered by Stoner. Vatanen gives it away to Hayes. Now Shepard. James Shepard with a shot. Blocked by Sami Vatanen.
McKenny just
Ducks in the midst of a change. 3-on-2 for the Rangers. Moore has trouble with the puck.
Kenny, I was just going to mention, this Anaheim team, when they get down by this number of goals we talked about a little bit earlier, they can really get nasty the way they play the game. It's something to keep an eye out for.
They trail by 3. They've allowed 6 goals 8 times this season, the Ducks. Giving up 5 so far tonight. Fleischmann across. Kessler unable to get the shot away. Good setup by Fleischmann. Silverberg spins along the boards. Matt Hudwick for the Rangers. Gives it away. Kessler shoots. Saved by Talbot. Silverberg looking for the puck. Gets it back to Fowler. Now Wisniewski across to Fowler. 2 minutes to go in the period. Kessler. Kessler out to Fowler. Wisniewski to Kessler. Shot hits his own man up high in front of the net. Fleischmann, and he heads off to the Ducks bench. Glass was looking for Shepard, but he headed for a change, so the Rangers have iced the puck.
That shot that hit Fleischmann, it looked to get him in the shoulder. He was able to kind of duck out of the way at the last minute, so he caught it in the shoulder. Shaken up briefly, but easily made his way to the bench. Here's the play again. Fleischmann is in front. Kessler with the turnaround, hard, rising shot, and Fleischmann saw it coming and protected himself.
Rangers will use a timeout because they cannot change their 5 skaters following the icing. Rangers with a 5-2 lead, 3 points for Derek Stepan.
Yeah, we talked about Stepan and his all-around game. He does so many things for the Rangers. Here he is on the penalty kill. How quickly he is there. This is a deflected shot. He gets an assist on that as Kreider scored. Here's the power play. Back to the point. Scores that one. And then this one. After showing a lot of patience, waited just that extra second and snapped it in. Derek Stepan missed the early part of this season with a broken leg. The Rangers missed him tremendously. Again, because his value to this team touches so many different important aspects of the game. And when he's out of the lineup, this team gets affected greatly. So even though he wasn't scoring, there are other things and other ways that he plays. That's a big help to the Rangers.
Terrific night for Stepan. Rangers with a 5-2 lead on the Ducks. Anaheim beginning a 5-game road trip. They'll play in Columbus, Boston, and come back to the New York area to take on the Islanders and the Devils to finish out the trip. Busy time for the Rangers as well. Beginning last night, 6 games in 9 days. They beat Carolina last night in a shootout. 3-on-2 for the Rangers. Stepan. Pass too far for McDonough.
And you know, Kenny, Bruce Boudreau said winning the President's Trophy doesn't matter to him. He says he's done it once and it got him nowhere.
That's right. He lost in the first round with Washington. Saved by Gibson on Stepan. Both of these coaches, Joe, won the President's Trophy, best regular season record, and lost in the first round. Boudreau with Washington, Alain Vigneault with Vancouver.
Not many of the President's Trophy winners go on to win a Stanley Cup.
Blackhawks did 2 years ago. Boston last season eliminated in the second round. Vancouver won the President's Trophy twice under Vigneault. They reached the finals in 2011, lost to Boston in Game 7. President's Trophy in 2012 as well for Vigneault. 2010 for Boudreau with Washington. Rangers' last President's Trophy came in '94. They won the Stanley Cup. Rangers with a regulation win tonight would take over the league lead. They would be tied in points with the Ducks and Canadiens, but would be listed on top by virtue of playing fewer games than the other two. Puck held in at the line by Sami Vatanen. Final seconds, second period. So the Rangers with 2 goals in the period from JT Miller and Derek Stepan, who has 3 points. Cam Talbot has stopped 21 of 23 Duck shots. Rangers with a 5-2 advantage. Catherine Tappan, Keith Jones, and Jeremy Roenick coming up on the Discover card. intermission report. Adjustments have been key for the Rangers. And an end-to-end goal from Oliver Ekman-Larsson in Arizona. Rangers with 3 in the first. Corey Perry has both Anaheim goals. Miller and Stepan in the second. 5-2 Rangers through 40 minutes. NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. And by M&M's. Can't resist M. Back at Madison Square Garden, we get set for the third period. Rangers lead the Ducks 5-2. Let's go back inside the glass with Joe.
Yeah, I go back to the start of the game, Kenny, when Ryan McDonagh told us the way you have to defend Perry and Getzlaf is with 5 players. In the first period, it was a dominating performance by Corey Perry, where he had 5 shots, 2 goals, but in this second period, the Rangers got help from everybody. Girardi was excellent. McDonagh was excellent. They got their forwards to come back and help out. Girardi there, another block shot, clears the zone. So they came back in the second period after not being real sharp in the first against that big line, and were very good.
Speaking of comebacks, the Ducks have come back in the third period to win after trailing in each of their last 3 games in the third. They've outscored their opponents 9-3 in the third period and overtime, but they are facing a 3-goal deficit here tonight. Perry with a drive, misses the net high. Lindholm back to Perry, off his stick. Perry whacked out by Girardi. Perry unable to hold in. Corey Perry only 1 shot in the second period after the 5 in the first.
And that was another example of Dan Girardi making the defensive play, just similar to the video we had just shown.
Mark Stahl with the puck, leading the rush for the Rangers. Cutting wide, now shoots, knocked down by Gibson. Rangers have not lost in regulation when leading after the second period this season. They are 30-0-1. Ducks lead the league with 12 wins when trailing after 2 periods. Fleischmann chasing with Boyle. Kessler plays the puck. Now Boyle on it for the Rangers. Cleared out by Brassard. Vatanen kept it away from Zuccarello. Silverberg. Yandel with 3 assists tonight. Back on it for the Rangers. Puck held in at the line by Wisniewski. Sakic across. Now the shot blocked by Yandel. Good opportunity for Emerson Edom, but Yandel in good position.
And another look at our Wendy's RoboCam. We talked about Girardi defending Corey Perry, number 10. Here's Girardi. Stick. Good position, stick again, reach, deflects the puck out of the zone. Excellent defensive play. And then this last chance, Keith Yandel in real good position to get the block.
Face off to the right of Cam Talbot, who has faced 24 Duck shots tonight. Allowed the 2 Perry goals in the first period. Wisniewski backhands behind the net. Edom leaving it for Sakic. Turnaround shot through the crease. Kept it at the line by Fowler. Edom keeps it away from Yandel. Raquel fires high and wide. And the puck rolls down into the Duck zone.
And Alain Vigneault just screamed to his team, let's get the first goal here in this period. He does not want his team to sit back.
Rangers led 3-2 after 1. They scored 2 second period goals. They have 5 goals on 21 shots tonight on Anderson and Gibson. Palmieri across the crease. Could not connect with Cogliano. Bolsheman for Lindholm. Picked off by Kreider. Or excuse me, Dominic Moore. Lindholm back for the Ducks. Puck played at center by Ryan McDonagh.
And Kenny, when you were talking about the graphic, you made a good point. This is an Anaheim team that just does not give up. They've got a lot of resolve to their game. They don't quit. Their coach talks about it. The players talk about it. And even though they're down, they have this ability to come back in games.
They've had some big third periods, Joe. 82 third period goals, third in the league. Sami Vatanen looks to cut inside, but McDonough stayed with him. Patrick Maroon back in. Talbot looks to wind it around. Ducks keep the puck alive. Here's Vatanen moving in from the right point. Fakes a shot, now shoots and misses the net. Stoner for Vatanen. Another shot deflected, saved by Talbot on the Patrick Maroon deflection.
That was a good shift by that Anaheim group. And how about Rick Nash? Watch him come back here. 61 comes all the way back into his zone. Those are things Rick Nash has done all season long. And then the Ducks keep the pressure on. There's the deflection by Maroon. Good save by Talbot and holds on.
Nash is been terrific in all three zones this season. He's tied for the league lead in shorthanded goals with 4. Fleischmann shot, saved by Talbot, and then it's cleared out of trouble by Dan Boyle. Puck was loose in the crease, and now another save by Talbot.
Anaheim's got good jump to start this period.
Zuccarello on goal. Gibson knocks it aside. Cam Fowler starts up ice. Up the middle for Silfverberg. Kessler gives chase with Stahl.
This is a change for Bruce Boudreau, putting Silfverberg back with Kessler. He had them together back a number of games ago. They were very good together.
Silfverberg had been playing with Thompson and Cogliano. There's Raquel with a shot, blockered out by Talbot. Rebound kept away from Fowler. And the Ducks able to move it back in. Edom chasing with Yandel. Edom with Sakat and Raquel. The forward line for Anaheim. No icing. Boschman back on it for the Ducks. Shots here in the third period, Joe. 6-1. Anaheim now 7-1 as Sakat is stopped by the stick of Talbot.
Anaheim's on their toes. The Rangers on their heels to start this period.
Yandel flips down. Sakat. Puck sent ahead by Lindholm for Edom. Deflected along by Raquel. Gathered in by Stahl. Kept in the zone by Sakat. Now Stahl clears. Just over 5 minutes gone. Third period from Madison Square Garden. Rangers 5, Ducks 2. Here's Perry around Stahl. Maroon with a shot, and that gets blocked by Girardi. It's underneath Dan Girardi. Maroon tries to work it free. And finally the whistle just as the Ducks got control of the puck.
Now Dan Girardi, who leads the Rangers in blocks, comes up with another big one. Maroon, one chance. Girardi controls it. Maroon tries to get in, keeps digging, and Girardi stays on top of it until the whistle. It's amazing, Dan Girardi in his career, all with the New York Rangers, leads this team in hits, leads them in blocks. He's generally up there every year and very seldom misses a game. Doesn't take many penalties, only 18 penalty minutes this season. He's tough, he plays hard, he blocks shots, and never, ever, hardly misses a game.
One of 4 Rangers who have played in every game this season. Tonight, game 71. Shot blocked in front by McDonough. Carried ahead by Brassard. Lead pass for Miller. And he misses the net to the left. Girardi shoots back in. Now Stoner up ice for the Ducks. For Thompson. So Palmieri now playing on the line with Cogliano and Thompson in Silfverberg's spot. Here's Zuccarello crisscrossing with Hagelin. Gloved by Gibson. Just over 6 minutes in. Third period. 5-2 Rangers.
The two goaltenders on the left. Frederik Andersen started. John Gibson came in to replace. It's going to be interesting, Kenny, to see which goaltender starts the playoffs. Frederik Anderson at one point started 20 consecutive games this season.
Jesper Fast gives the Rangers a 6-2 lead. Well, Joe, they both allowed 3. Anderson and Gibson tonight.
Boy, right off the face-off. Jesper Fast had gone 22 games without scoring a goal until last night he scored. And right from the face-off here, he just beats everybody to the loose puck. And beats Anderson. Anderson was slow getting over. And didn't cover up that post. Gibson was slow in getting over. And actually the Ducks won the face-off. Kessler won the face-off. And it still ends up in their net. That should be an unassisted goal.
The Rangers tie their season high with 6 goals for the 5th time this season. It's the 9th time the Ducks have allowed 6. Jesper Fast scores for the 2nd straight game. Shot from the point by Yandel. Blocker down by Gibson. Fast behind the net for fellow countryman Carl Hagelin. Fast keeps the puck alive. Kevin Hayes with the lone assist, his 2nd of the game, 6:12 the time. Rangers lead 6-2. So, Joe, you were just talking about the goaltenders, Anderson and Gibson. Anderson allowed 3 goals on 7 shots. Gibson has now given up 3 on 16 attempts.
Now, Kenny, you talked about Anderson getting hurt down in Tampa Bay and missing that time. He just hasn't gotten his game back together yet. And Gibson, even though he's allowed 3 in this game, he's been good up until this one.
Right, he had won 7 of his last 8 decisions. In fact, his last 3 wins over the last 10 days, Joe, have been against Dubnyk, Rinne, and Quick, 3 of the top goaltenders in the NHL this season.
Yeah, Gibson's just 21, but he's a very, very confident goaltender. And did get some playoff experience a year ago.
2nd round pick by the Ducks back in 2011. Counter Glass backhands the puck ahead. Kept away from Dominic Moore, who was knocked down by Clayton Stoner. Twelve minutes remaining, 3rd period. Cogliano cutting wide and a glove save by Talbot.
Now we'll take one more look at this goal off the face-off. Bruce Boudreau won't like the goal because they win the face-off and Quick beats everyone there. Wisniewski, number 20, comes across and it just goes off his stick and then off the arm of the goaltender Gibson. But this was a clean win that ends up in the net. And that's when the coach will look at and go, we're a little slow at helping out after a clean face-off win.
Ducks win this draw. Vatanen into the slot. Cogliano shot blocked. Carried out by Zuccarello. Rims around behind Gibson. Now an opportunity for Brassard. He scores! 7-2 Rangers.
What a pass. Matt Zuccarello with a brilliant pass. Come the Rangers again. Just dump it in. Now they go to work. Quick on the puck. Support on the puck. And Zuccarello with that little pass through everybody finds Brassard. So speed going in on the forecheck. Miller with that size forces a turnover. Zuccarello and Brassard do the rest. Timeout Anaheim.
The Rangers had scored 6 goals in their last 4 games. Only 17 in their last 9. That's under 2 per game. They have a season high 7 tonight.
And Bruce Boudreau really laid into his team. Those are 2 soft goals where they don't cover up defensively. These last 2, it was so loud in this building I couldn't hear what he was saying, but I'm sure it wasn't pleasant.
15th goal of the season for Derek Brassard, his first in the last 7 games. Now Kreider misses the net. Zuccarello with his second assist. 4 Rangers with multiple points. 8:17, the time of the 7th Rangers goal.
Let's see if that talking to by Bruce Boudreau fires up his team at all. A lot of time left in this game. A lot of things can happen.
Bruce Boudreau was asked this morning about the recent comebacks. He said, our guys believe they can always win, but it might be different tonight against this club. That shot hits Maroon up high.
That was Corey Perry with the strong mover on the net. Let the shot go. And Maroon, who earlier in the game, he got hit with a stick while he was prone on the ice by Yandel. And he'll head straight to the locker room. Corey Perry, strong move around the net. Gets a shot, just misfires, and over the other side, McDonough and Maroon tied up on the play, and Maroon defenseless.
Patrick Maroon, the St. Louis native, career high in points this season with 32, has an assist tonight. Perry with the puck. Sakic replaces Maroon on the line with Getzlaf and Perry. Here's Perry, who has both Ducks goals. McDonough on the loose puck, and he clears. Hagelin chasing, along with Beauchemin. Perry deflects it out. And Girardi shoots it right back. 6 different goal scorers for the New York Rangers tonight. Talbot forced to make the save on the shot from deep in the Duck zone. Now Fleischmann off the skate of Yandel. Kessler picks it up. Out to Vatanen. Fleischmann stick checked away by Stepan. Under 10 minutes remaining, 3rd period. New York Rangers lead the Anaheim Ducks 7-2. Rangers back in action on Tuesday, Joe. They will host the Los Angeles Kings, the team that defeated the Rangers in 5 games in the Stanley Cup final last June.
And are fighting for their playoff lives. Currently out of the playoff mix are the LA Kings.
And Boyle lost an edge. Edom directs the puck out to the left point for Fowler. Mark Stahl shoots in with 9 minutes remaining in the period. That shot off the side of the net, and it's covered by Gibson. You are watching the NHL push for the playoffs on NBC SN. Jesper Fast with the 6th Ranger goal, and then Derek Brassard the 7th. Let's take a look at upcoming games. LA Kings, New Jersey Devils tomorrow, then the Kings and Rangers from the Garden on Tuesday. Blackhawks and Flyers on Wednesday. Download the app or watch live online at NBCSports.com/live extra. Rangers with a 7-2 lead. Kings here on Tuesday. And Joe, the Kings recalled Mike Richards from Manchester of the American Hockey League earlier today.
You know, there was a lot of speculation. Of course, Mike Richards, he's always been known as a tremendous playoff performer and someone that can play in the clutch, and they need someone to lead the way right now and give them a little boost.
Collision between Zuccarello and Cogliano. Fowler on the puck. Now Palmieri sends in deep. Talbot with a win tonight, Joe, will go to 15-3-3 in the absence of Henrik Lundqvist.
Really been an amazing story.
Gibson with a save on Hunwick. Cam Talbot was not drafted. Played collegiately at Alabama Huntsville. We mentioned earlier he's been named the 3rd star and the 2nd star of the week in the NHL. over the last 2 weeks.
You know, Kenny, he's never been, as you mentioned, he wasn't drafted in the NHL, wasn't drafted to play junior hockey.
Now Perry in front, and the save by Talbot with the catching glove.
How about that? How about a standing ovation at Madison Square Garden? Getzlaf with the play behind the net and the save, and listen to this crowd. There's the steal. Pardon me, it was Fleischmann with the steal, and then Perry looking for his third of the game.
Cam Talbot continuing his tremendous play. He wears number 33 because his goaltending idol was Patrick Waugh. Lundqvist played his last game on February 2nd. Talbot started the Rangers' next game 2 days later. At the time, Joe, the Rangers had 62 points. They were in 6th place in the Eastern Conference. With a win tonight in regulation, they will be number 1 overall in the National Hockey League. There are the numbers coming into tonight's game. Talbot 14-3-3, and Mackenzie Skapski is 2-0 with a pair of victories, including a shutout over the Buffalo Sabres.
And it certainly wasn't a knock on Talbot, the backup goaltender, for everyone to be a little bit concerned. He had been very good over the last year and a half as the backup for the Rangers, and there's Mackenzie Skapski. But when you lose a player of the caliber of Henrik Lundqvist, one of the top goaltenders in the game, there certainly would be a little uneasiness. That's dissipated.
Since February 4th, the first start for Talbot following the Lundqvist injury, only Devin Dubnyk of Minnesota has more wins. 16 wins for Dubnyk. Talbot 14 coming into this game. Ducks offside with just under 7 minutes on the clock.
Now, he talked about he had 3 teams that were willing to sign him when he finished his college career. And the reason he said he came to New York, one of the big reasons, was because of Benoit Allaire, the goaltending guru here in New York, who's really helped him modify his game somewhat. He was much more aggressive as a goaltender. Benoit Allaire got him to be a little bit more patient with the way he played and a little bit more positional.
One of the best in the business, and he's done a tremendous job with Lundqvist over the last 10 seasons as well. Rangers have made it to the playoffs in 9 of the 10 seasons since Lundqvist came to North America. They made it to the Eastern Conference Final in 2012, lost to New Jersey, to the Stanley Cup Final last June. And they are just over 6 minutes away from being atop the National Hockey League overall standings. Puck knocked down by Getzlaf. Looking for Perry off his stick. Good job by Stahl on Perry. Getzlaf works it out to the left point for Lindholm. And then Bolshevik. Ducks will continue their road trip Tuesday night against the Blue Jackets in Columbus. Then they will move on to Boston, Long Island, and New Jersey. Perry fires wide. And the puck rolls down into the Duck zone with 5:25 to play. Rangers scored 3 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 here in the third. They have the last 4 goals in the game. Derek Stepan with 3 points. Clayton Stoner with under 5 minutes remaining. Zuccarello flips it along. No penalties, Joe, since the first period. Very physical first period. Deflection by Zuccarello misses the net.
You know, Kenny, the officiating crew, I think, recognized the fact that these two teams were fighting for number 1 overall in the league. They both came out, played with a lot of intensity, and they let the players decide it. They just kind of stood back, made sure it didn't get out of hand, and let the players play. It was a good job by them.
Down to 4:15 remaining. Rangers the only team in the league with fewer than 20 regulation losses. And Joe, they have a tremendous record against the West. With a victory tonight, Rangers will go to 16-4-5 against the Western Conference.
Kenny, they're so confident in their system, which is defensive-minded, but they play so fast and move the puck that it really, if they're playing against a team that doesn't have quickness in their lineup, Rangers are difficult to beat.
James Shepard battling behind the net with Nate Thompson. Dominic Moore gets knocked down by Cam Fowler. Counter glass for James Shepard. Dominic Moore with a shot off the shoulder of Gibson. Puck worked out to Matt Hunwick. Blocked by Emerson Edom. Chipped out by Silverberg.
Kenny, and I thought it was interesting this morning in talking to Bruce Boudreau, the Anaheim coach. He said, you know, the Rangers said it's not fair what they're doing defensively, not allowing goals. And he said they're playing this way and winning all these games without 3 key players in their lineup.
Without Henrik Lundqvist, the goaltender, defenseman Kevin Klein, and winger Marty St. Louis. They lead tonight 7-2.
Rangers with a 5-goal lead here late in the third period. Cam Talbot again continues his outstanding play. He allowed 2 goals in the first period, nothing since. He's been in good position. His glove has been excellent. As we've seen, he has stopped deflected shots. He's controlled rebounds. He's certainly gotten some help, and then he's made saves like that. A spectacular glove save on Corey Perry.
Talbot's numbers over his last 6 games. This run by the Rangers, Joe, really started in early December. Don't forget, in Henrik Lundqvist's last 20 games, the Rangers were 16-4, and it's carried over with Talbot and Skapski. Rangers will go to 35-8-3 over their last 46 games. Only 8 regulation losses during that span. Incredible numbers. 2.5 to play. 5 Rangers with multiple point games. Stepan and Yandel 3 points apiece. 2 points for Miller, Hayes, and Zuccarello.
Kenny, you know, you talk about that New York Rangers record, and at the time, I remember Alain Vigneault, the head coach, came out and he had a meeting with his team, and he said, listen, we have got to start playing better defensive hockey. Our forwards are not helping out enough defensively, so they started playing this system where the forwards would just turn and come back at any type of turnover in the offensive zone, sprint back to the defensive zone, allow the defense to stand up and make plays. And when they started playing that way, they started this incredible run.
He loves his defenseman moving the puck up ice quickly. Received great goaltending. Koch with a long shot, deflected, and a save by Talbot. The deflection by Emerson Edom. Under 2 minutes remaining. Raquel, backhand shot just wide to the right. Edom with the puck. Throws it across the crease. Nice move by Raquel. For Koch. Shouldered by Jesper Fast. Raquel with the puck. 90 seconds remaining. Stripped from behind by Hayes. Rangers with a season high in goals, most allowed by the Ducks this season. Ducks with 37 shots. 35 saves for Talbot. Rangers have scored on 1 of every 4 shots tonight. 7 goals, 28 shots. Under a minute to play. Gamble for Boyle. And a save by Gibson. Joe, what will Bruce Boudreau's message to his team be in the locker room following the game?
Well, you know what he was saying, his big key is to get this team with new players to gel. And they'll just get back to work and get ready for the playoffs. As you mentioned earlier, Kenny, they've had a few blowouts this season, and they still are one of the top teams in the league.
Ninth time they've allowed at least 6 goals. Fans on their feet here at Madison Square Garden. Wisniewski off the glove of Talbot. 7-2 victory for the New York Rangers. They are atop the National Hockey League standings. 99 points. Cam Talbot 15-3-3 since the Lundqvist injury. His 19th win on the season. 9 straight starts allowing 2 or fewer goals.
Hey, good job, Cam. Good job, buddy.
So the Rangers over the Ducks. 7-2 for Joe Micheletti, statistician Emmett McGuire. This is Kenny Albert saying goodnight from Madison Square Garden. Now to our NHL Overtime studio. Here's Catherine Tappan.